Chaos.
Raze.
Raze?
Yes.
Sorry.
R-A-Z.
Subscribe to Raze Chaos.
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You have made it back to my channel, and I cannot say how excited, how happy I am to be back here, right in front of you, like I never left, like I wasn't just filming the previous versions of the. Okay, yeah, well, that happened. So yeah, we are going to go ahead and continue on through the Spider-Man 100 collectible comic book cover postcards that Raze picked up at Beyond Amazing in Chicago. The exhibit's still going on. I think it'll be going on until just before spring. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, it's the Chicago Museum of Science Technology. So you really, if you are interested in this, go ahead and check it out. There's still plenty of time to make your way over there and check things out. Yeah, so but yeah, that's the little plug that Raze is going to do for him, because yeah, it is an excellent museum and there is so much to learn, so many new things, even for an old cuss like Raze. Yeah, it was a lot of fun going to that thing, and I'd love to go back, but well, we'll see. Though I wouldn't have a reason to make a video if I went back. I know how it is. But at any rate, let's go ahead and put this guy away and let's dig back into this. So as we get closer, I mean, we are already halfway through this. So as we get to the newer stuff, I have a feeling that Raze isn't going to know quite as much, because he doesn't follow Spider-Man quite as closely as he used to. I mean, we're right here in the 90s, and yeah, we're getting there. We're getting right into the thick of when Raze was collecting comics, and essentially, like a freaking sponge, absorbed everything he could, even on comics he didn't even read. So yeah, that's kind of the point we're at. But as we get closer to, like, say today, Raze has become a lot more selective with what he picks up. So yeah, some of the newer stuff might end up being a little bit confusing. Well, heck, you know what we can do since we're here? On this episode of Raze Chaos, we will have Spider-Man versus Dr. Octopus, obviously, followed by Miles Morales' Spider-Man showing up and doing his thing, and yeah, Spider-Man's even gonna fight Hydra. Okay, yeah, so that wasn't as funny as the ones I did earlier, the ones I was doing, but when a joke starts running stale, it starts running stale. So let's jump right into our first card going on, and which is funny because we just got done with a Venom storyline beforehand, and let me see. Yeah, the first return of Venom in Amazing Spider-Man number 316, but we jump right to 346, and Venom is back again. Yeah, he was the guy. I mean, he wasn't going away anytime soon. V is for Vile Vengeance and Venom, Amazing Spider-Man number 346. And yeah, we got a nice little green stuff coming out of his mouth at this point. And it was the cover artist is Eric Larson. And if that name sounds familiar, he is the guy who created Savage Dragon. So yeah, this is Eric Larson, and Eric Larson is another one of those artists, much like Todd McFarlane, that did like jump ship from Marvel to go create Image. So these everything so far has been pre-Image pre-Image Marvel comics. So yeah, this is around the time that a lot of disgruntled artists were like, you know what? Yeah, they were basically told people are buying these books because of the characters and not your artwork. So you don't get a raise. We will not increase what you get. And these guys wanted to prove them wrong, and they absolutely did. Of course, sustainability not quite as strong, but they had a point to prove, and they proved it by leaving the company. And I think all of them have come back at some point. So we're gonna jump from Venom to Amazing Spider-Man number 361. At last, the spawn of Venom.
Yes, we recall replicating.
Now, Cletus Cassidy had been making appearances in the comic before this, as he is Eddie Brock's cellmate. Which, how does that work? Cletus Cassidy should not be in a regular jail cell in a regular population at a prison. I mean, he was a completely crazy homicidal slasher serial killer. He should not have had a cellmate at all. You see, all the way up until this point, you see Cletus is just basically kind of discovering that that little thing that kind of helped Eddie Brock escape and left a little something behind has now bonded with him, and between the corrupted hatred of Spider-Man that did actually infect the Venom symbiote, its rejection and hatred for Spider-Man is what kind of pushes it as evil, or anti-hero, whatever you want to call it. But combine that with the homicidal insanity of Cletus Cassidy, and you have Carnage. This is the first appearance of Carnage showing up, and if ever there was a let's scare the crap out of people, it's this one. It is Carnage is one of the most terrifying villains that Spider-Man has. It was a lot of fun. You had I remember when this came out, it was like absolutely crazy because you had Maximum Carnage, because it was another, they never stopped Carnage at first. They couldn't. He was able to avoid Spider-Man's spider sense just like Venom was, and the general rule is every offspring symbiote is going to be stronger than the one before. So Carnage is just by default stronger than Venom, and then being led by him, he's one of those people that is, they just can't keep down, and when they can't keep him down, he's killing somebody. So yeah, that is our crazy first appearance of Carnage, and Carnage is befitting of a word, not only to Cletus Cassidy's character, but to the Spider-Man series in general, because it just starts going off the rails at this point. Because by this point, I have already pointed out the Spider Clone, and now I've pointed out the symbiotes. We've got Venom and Carnage at this point, and clones and symbiotes in Spider-Man. That branches out to a point where we can't even keep track of it all. But we're gonna keep going on here. We've got the Spectacular Spider-Man number 200, and this is a great little John Romita Jr., isn't it? No, it's Sal Buscema. Wow, that was embarrassing. Sal Buscema cover, and it's even more embarrassing because it says it right here on the bottom. He signed the damn thing, and I still got the name wrong. Never mind that. Spectacular Spider-Man 200. We've got Spider-Man versus Green Goblin, but as stated in the previous video, Green Goblin is no longer Norman Osborn. At this point, it's Harry Osborn.
You're all mine, Norman. Harry? Harry's the Goblin now?
But after this issue, it won't even be that, because this is the issue where Harry Osborn dies. So, once again, Spider-Man kills the Green Goblin a second time. And, this is 93. So, yeah, before the millennium happened, Spider-Man's killed Green Goblin twice. I guess it wasn't necessarily his fault, but, he's lost 2 goblins. But yeah, this is the death of Harry Osborn as Green Goblin, as Green Goblin, Harry Osborn. They're dead in this issue.
Now, don't worry. We're not gonna finish you yet, Parker.
And that leads us to the second Venom miniseries, The Enemy Within, Part 1. I believe this was a 3-issue thing. Raze sorted a lot at comic book stores. So he had to piece these things together from other collections as he was sorting out new acquisitions. But this is Venom, The Enemy Within. This is the second Venom miniseries. The first one, of course, being Lethal Protector, which is the title that tends to get stuck to Venom. But yeah, this is his second go round, and in this story, basically he's got some guest names in this one, and the easiest way to put it is they also could have called this Venom. It's Morbin time, because yes, this is actually a book. Basically, a bunch of goblins are all over New York, and they're headed up by the Demogoblin, which not gonna get into that guy right now, but yeah, that's he is basically a further evolution of the Hobgoblin character. He ends up becoming Demogoblin. And in this case, Venom and Morbius group together to fight off this goblin attack going on in New York. And that's probably why this one, honestly, what's funny about this one, because I do believe Raze was working with a comic book store at this time, and Venom was all the rage, in the 90s. He was the big scary new guy, and this issue popped off so strong. And when the second one came out, like I said, it was 3 issues, but when the second one came out, it was noticeably not as much. It was one of those things where it was just kind of like, oh wow, get ready, here they come. And yeah, it started off kind of strong, but quickly kind of petered out. And by the time the 3rd issue came out, nobody cared. And that is the power of Morbius. He can even take down Venom in sales. So, yeah, Venom, The Enemy Within, Part 1. Boom. And now this leads us to a good one. This is Marvel's number 4. And this is a very strong Alex Ross cover. And this is one of the books. Want to say it was the book that really got mainstream attention towards Alex Ross. He had been doing covers elsewhere and everything, but Marvel's was completely done by him, and it was basically following a man named Phil Sheldon, who is around for the dawning of the Age of Heroes. He's there when all these new superheroes start popping up, like the Fantastic Four and Iron Man, and he's in New York. So through the eye of his camera, he takes pictures and is just in the right place at the right time, much like a Peter Parker, but without the just older and more of a harder edged news guy. And he notices things like how, basically this book all the way through it, and it is time era. That's why Spider-Man is on the cover here, looking at Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy right now. This tells you pretty much the time in which it's happening in continuity. You've seen him witness Galactus in New York. You've seen him witness the fire in the sky. He was there when Prince Namor, the Submariner, brought his Atlantean army onto New York to try and wage war with land dwellers. But you get to see basically a lynch mob going after a very, very young, basically this child that is actually a mutant. So you get to see everything from the civilian point of view, the people who aren't like dressed in costumes and beating each other up. You get to see the common man's reaction to all these quote unquote marvels that are happening every day. And you get to see the conflict between, why is it that suddenly Spider-Man's a menace again? Like they don't, why are people turning against these superheroes when they just saved the planet like last month? You see him noticing this, and how quickly the public attitude changes. And this one is a strong one because you see him like when Gwen Stacy dies. And why would Phil Sheldon know who Gwen Stacy is? Because of Captain Stacy. Captain Stacy was a beloved police captain in New York that Phil Sheldon would have obviously had to come in contact with, being a newspaper photographer. And so he more than likely had met Gwen Stacy, thought she was as sweet as everybody else thought she was, and didn't really want to find her killed the way she was. So yeah, a lot of real world emotions are shown in these characters at this point, and this is easily the fit. Raze, as far as this entire book, this entire set, Raze doesn't even have to get through to the next 25 of these before he can say that this is easily Raze's favorite story that's depicted in any of these books. And especially seeing a young Alex Ross, because Alex Ross is Alex Ross, and he had suddenly made comics more real than movies did, to be perfectly honest, because let's face it, in the 90s there weren't a lot of good superhero movies outside of The Crow. But yeah, we are going to keep moving along here. Now we are moving to The Amazing Spider-Man number 24, and this has taken us through to 2005, so that's a nice big jump from the mid-90s to the mid-2000s. This is a good 10-year jump. And this is a great cover by Tony Harris. And don't really know much about this issue, but this cover is great because you've got Spider-Man in the forefront and everything, and then you've got the image here of him right in front of the good old Hydra symbol, reminding everybody that Hydra is always out there. That it is that criminal organization that's always out there and has been since World War II, and it's a great enemy that never seems to go away. You can pop Hydra. You can use Hydra just about anytime you want, because obviously that group is so vast. And yes, even Spider-Man has to come into contact with these guys sooner or later. And keeping it going and moving right along, what have we got? Well, we have got the Amazing Spider-Man. Number 533. I didn't even see a number on this thing. Amazing Spider-Man number 533. The Civil War crossover. And this cover is there are no words on this cover. Well, in the bottom half is red. You got the Civil War for the title and everything, and letting you know it was part of the start, which all the Civil War books had these when they came out. And as it puts a Marvel Comics event, and talk about a cover that really gives you a really good idea of what this entire issue is about. You see Iron Man standing behind Spider-Man here, and you see Spider-Man with his hands holding on to the bottom of his mask, because yes, this is when Peter Parker goes on national television and removes his mask to reveal his identity to the public. And a lot of people didn't think this was going to happen. And I don't mean the people within the Marvel Universe. I'm talking about, when this issue came out, we were all like, seriously? That's not going to make Peter Parker's life any easier now. Especially consider J. Jonah Jameson now knows that the guy that he's been calling a menace this entire time has also been working for him. So, yeah, there's a lot of fun with that. And there's a lot of stories that came from the reveal of this issue. So, yeah, that was a big deal. But, yeah, we are in 2006 at this point. Spider-Man, Ron Garney cover. And we are going to move right along to Spider-Man number 578. And 578. This is another Let's Go Back issue. One of the things that stands out to me is that this is a Mark Waid book. Mark Waid is a very excellent comic book writer. He is a big lover of comics, and honestly, he did a lot for the Flash, for example. He worked on the Flash for many, many years, and really kind of showed his knowledge when it came to superheroes and the characters. As a matter of fact, at a Wizard World convention many years ago, back when they were a lot stronger than they had gotten before they dwindled, Raze actually sat at a panel where they had a fans versus pros contest, where you had a group of fans. I think there was 4, maybe 5 people on one side, and it was a trivia contest. And as they and their whole thing was they were going to pit their knowledge as a reader of the comics that they love so much versus the creators. And when they introduced the creators, it was just Mark Waid. He was the only one there. And when they were just like, Are you the only guy? Are you the only one on this side? He goes, I asked. Nobody else wanted to do this. So he sat up there and single-handedly decimated everything. There was very few questions he didn't actually get. And honestly, Raze remembers the very question he didn't get. And that was when they basically asked what was Grey Gargoyle's real name. That was the only one he wasn't 100% positive. He didn't know right offhand. But he honestly, like at one point when the guy started answering the question, he clicked and just said, I have a feeling I know what this question is, and just gave an answer. And yeah, what are you guys going to do? But yeah, this is a great homage cover to, Spider-Man holding up. He's holding up the world as always. I love they've got like this little scratch on his forehead and everything. As far as he's struggling to keep that mask on. He's struggling to hold everything up, and you probably, especially having been in here, been watching these. Yeah, you know the cover that Raze is talking about of Spider-Man in the sewer holding everything up. So, yeah, this is an easy homage to these. And then we move to The Amazing Spider-Man number 600, which is really cool. They actually did like 5 or 6 different covers for this issue, but this is easily my favorite. And it's not hard to figure out why. This is Spider-Man fighting Dr. Octopus, and it's done by Alex Ross. And to say this isn't impressive, it's just a beautiful cover. You've got all his tentacles like reaching up, pulling at Peter in all these different directions, and I don't really know what the story was in there. It's just really such a dynamic cover that would actually be completely awesome. And Funko should totally make this as one of their covers. They keep liking to do these like little clear plastic, keeping them up and everything. Come on, you've got the tentacles coming out the ground. You can hold the Spider-Man up in his pose and just have those tentacles wrapped around the pop. That is a no-brainer. Though it's not going to look nearly as good as the Alex Ross cover, because Raze is a fan, if you couldn't tell. This is so awesome. This is a great cover. And that leads us to Spider-Man the Gaunted Vulture. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 623 from 2010, and this is Spider-Man is fighting a legacy villain, I guess you'd say. You've got this newer version of the Vulture on there, which that's always been one of those things that new artists or writers that jump on Spider-Man are wanting to do. It's just like, okay, Adrian Toomes is like 1,000 years old. When are we going to get a newer Vulture? Because the idea is that the only thing that really held the Vulture back was the fact that he was basically a spindly old man in that costume. And the idea of having a younger, stronger Vulture has been basically something that they have like played with since the very beginning, because I do believe there was almost immediately a younger Vulture in the books, like soon after his first appearance. But not as good as far as using that suit as Adrian Toomes was. So yeah, a knockoff Vulture. Nobody's worried about that, but still, it's a great cover. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 623.
Sorry, but I gotta go now.
Okay, now we're jumping to the Amazing Spider-Man number 641. One Moment in Time crossover, the storyline. I love the way they use the blues on this, because it's a blue background, and so then they just basically including Spider-Man's costume, but there's really no way of differentiating. And obviously Mary Jane's wearing jeans, so the blue, they just basically blend in there. And this is a story, essentially, yeah, having the world know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man has not made his life easier. So much like in the movie, Spider-Man essentially goes to Doctor Strange and has to and basically begs to have everybody forget who he was. And yeah, he does it under the stipulation that if Spider-Man reveals his identity, they are going to remember their memory of him being Spider-Man is going to come back. And this is also leading up to another story, because obviously Spider-Man has to let his wife know, hey, I'm really Spider-Man, and you've known all along. And the big fight that starts in here is Mary Jane, who knows she's married to Peter Parker. That part she did not forget. She just forgot that Peter Parker was also Spider-Man. When he reveals it to her that he is Spider-Man and she's always known, suddenly all the Venom attacks, all the nights of staying up and being worried that, so Spider-Man's off fighting this major battle in the middle of the city while I watch, or teaming up with a big superhero group doing this world destruction situation. It's like being a police officer's wife times 1,000. When you get the sense of, it's like, if he's hurt, is she gonna hear about it? Is there anybody gonna even think to call her if anything bad happens? If he dies out there and just disappears, like, how long does she have to wait when he doesn't come home? When the night is over, is he just still out there working on some crime, or was he killed in the night and it just hasn't been reported yet? Like, all of this comes rushing back to her, and she essentially basically starts having a little bit of a meltdown, like asking, hey, I was much happier when I didn't remember this yet. And essentially at this point, she still wishes, just like their love for each other is still stronger than anything. So Spider-Man's still so they're still together. It's just that, dang, she did not want that wake-up call. So yeah, this is Spider-Man essentially telling his wife for the first time that he's Spider-Man all over again, and letting her already deal with what that means, come crashing down in a blink of an eye. I can't imagine what that would have felt like, because I'm sure she's suppressed like all kinds of situations, because Venom targeted her for quite a while, and yeah, that couldn't have been a fun. That could not have. It's one moment in time. But that one moment is revealing years of backstory, and I can't imagine how traumatizing that would be for somebody. So, yeah, very heavy issue when you start thinking about some of the ramifications that some of these heroes, the superheroes and their supporting characters have had to deal with, that we can't even understand, because nothing with that gravitas really happens. In real life. So that's one of those stories that made you really kind of think, would you really want to know if your significant other was out there, fighting homicidal, world devouring individuals? Yeah, it's a hard decision, I would imagine.
World again. And what do I get for it? As usual, zilch.
And that leads us to Amazing Spider-Man number 655, And yeah, speaking from the what issue was that? Hang on, that was 641. This is 655. Marcos Martin cover, and this is just kind of a. You remember what we were talking about? This is basically a situation in this issue. Spider-Man's feeling the weight. By this point, he is working with the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. And obviously, since he's got his own solo book, he's also fighting crime on his own. If you imagine that, I mean, that's, I mean, really think about that. I mean, it's easy to have your superhero team book, and then when I'm not with the team book, but then to be in two big teams, especially two of the biggest teams in the Marvel Universe, that are facing the biggest and the baddest of the bunch. Yeah, that would be. I would imagine that would be a really hard thing to juggle. Yeah, this is a great cover. It has. I love how it's like. It almost looks like a blood splot, with Spider-Man on the front, but it's basically a red spider web, but it could very easily be a blood drop that has splattered and gone in every direction. So it's a really great use of visual on this one. It is a great cover. I like this one quite a bit. I would not want them to do a Funko comic cover of this one because I have a feeling that they would ruin it. And now we are to the Amazing Spider-Man number 657, which Raze is very aware of what this issue is. This is Spider-Man dealing with the death of his best friend, or one of his best friends. This is 2011, and as you know, if you're a comic book reader at all, superheroes die, like, all the time. Then they come back, and then they have to deal with other people dying, and then they might die again and come back. Who knows? Well, at this particular issue, this is Spider-Man dealing with the death of Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four, and I love how they did this because while you didn't, I mean, even if you're reading the Amazing Spider-Man, you didn't see the death of Johnny Storm in this series. That happened in the Fantastic Four. But Spider-Man and the Human Torch, being the young heroes, especially when they were initially came out, they were roughly the same age, and they both had powers. And really, they were the only two guys about the same age that were like that. So they became fast friends. You know, the dawning of the Marvel's heroic age, I guess you'd say. These were two of the younger guys that you know, both in New York City. It made sense that these guys would be friends. And don't know how well known this is or not, but they even had their own special hangout spot, which is on top of the the Statue of Liberty. Those two, that was their meeting point. So, yeah, this is Peter Parker dealing with the fact that, you know, no matter how you look at it, you know, from the beginning of the Spider-Man comic, you know, from the first couple issues, I mean, you know, I believe one of the first cards in here was Spider-Man meeting up with the Fantastic Four, and he and Johnny Storm had been friends that entire time. Now we're on issue 657, and you know, from the 60s to 2011, not a lot of people have had a friend that lasted that long, let alone a close friend. So this is a really, this is a really. I remember this issue because it's all about, you know, remembering his friend and, you know, how they grew up being superheroes, and so it's another one of those little slice of life issues that's really cool, and it's you know, it's another way. I love it when they do this stuff where they actually show you the human side of the character instead of carrying the weight on the world of the world. All, sorry about that. Basically, instead of carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, they're reacting to the world that they're carrying. So, yeah, very sad issue, but still great cover. Yeah, it's a great cover when you look at it, because you could imagine Spider-Man seeing, seeing Johnny Storm putting out his little force signal in the sky when he needed to assemble the team. Why wouldn't everybody else see this? I mean, everybody's going to see a sudden flaming 4 up in the sky. So that is really good.
Thank you. Who's up for a Spidey Torch collab?
And now we're getting in there. Of course we are. This next issue is actually Spider-Man #1 limited series that essentially is going to go ahead and show you some of the parallels that Miles Morales and Peter Parker have, obviously these are two characters that share the same superhero name, and they are going to even work together in the future. You've got these two guys, and it's like nobody wants to drop either Spider-Man. Basically, nobody wants to get rid of Miles Morales. He's a great character. And they don't want him to get a different name. He is Spider-Man. He earned it in the Ultimate Universe, and he essentially witnessed the death of Peter Parker on his world and is paying homage to that man. And now he is crossing over into the regular universe and dealing with another Peter Parker. It's really kind of cool seeing how they interact, seeing how their lives were similar. Not quite. I mean, it's most amazing heroes of two worlds, and it's essentially showing them on how they are basically. They're very, very similar people, and how they react and how they handle things. So, a little mini series, I guess. They really wanted you to buy more Spider-Man comics at this point, so they had to give you another one. And now we have the Amazing Spider-Man number 665. Another great cover. I love these covers that has like Amazing Spider-Man with the marquee, like it's at a movie theater. Obviously losing his A's. Great look. Don't really know much about this cover, or this issue, but this is a great cover, and this one ranks right up there with the as far as some of the favorites as far as Raze is found in this. The Amazing Spider-Man, working on that movie marquee. Again, that's issue 665 from 2011, and it amazes me how they'll jump 10 years and then give you 8 or 9 issues, or 8 or 9 issues from the same year. It's like, wow, okay. Which jumps us right to the Ultimate Comics, and we have got issue 1, the all-new Spider-Man. It's Ultimate Comics Spider-Man #1, November 2011. So along with that, this is still when Miles Morales is still a new character, and this is him taking over as Spider-Man, and he is, part of the thing was everybody was liking the Ultimate Spider-Man, but not everybody was reading it yet. So that's why Spider-Man was a deal, because this is still the Ultimate Universe. So they're showing the parallels on how Peter Parker and Miles Morales have very similar lives. So we've got issue 1, and that's Bendis, who really did a great job on the whole Spider-Man and Miles Morales thing. So yeah, Ultimates, all new Spider-Man issue 1, Ultimate Universe, and
Can't stop me now.
we've got, and basically we have the exact same issue with a different cover. And yeah, they're really playing up that the Ultimate Spider-Man. They want you to know that this is not Peter Parker, and the Ultimate Spider-Man is not Peter Parker by any means. And so they give you plenty of, you know, he's basically got an entire head to toe costume that doesn't show any skin. So they got to show a lot of him, like, taking his mask off. And, of course, this being the first issue of that, being a variant edition, there were a bunch of different covers showing. It's the exact same issue, just different cover on this one. But it is great, and I really like how Miles Morales has kind of grown into his own character, and that is really cool.
That plastic kid.
That's going to lead us right into Amazing Spider-Man number 695. And, yeah, we're well past anything Raze has actually followed as far as these comics go. I just know this is an excellent cover. You've got the Kingpin right here, dead center. You've got Peter Parker, half Spider-Man, half Peter Parker, with a spider sense going off. And you've got all these people around here. And, yeah, it would look like, you know, you've got Hobgoblin here, you've got Hobgoblin there. And initially, you would think, okay, so it's another one of those Who is the Hobgoblin stories. But then right above the title of the book here, it just says Hobgoblin versus the Amazing Spider-Man. So, yeah, Hobgoblin being one of those villains that, you know, you never knew who was under the mask. You knew eventually you were going to have a couple of collisions, so to speak, of two people using the Hobgoblin motif at the same time. And, yeah, like, how do you deal with that? Like, equally matched, I suppose, depending on finding out who the better Hobgoblin is. But, yeah, this is Spider-Man number 695. That's so cool. Woo! Boy, these things are taking a lot out of me. And that's going to take us right. Okay, we have got The Amazing Spider-Man number 700. Issue 700. 700 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man. And that's just this one. That's not even talking about the other series like Web of Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man. This is just Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 700. And I love how they did this cover because, if you look at it, like dead center here in the white area of his eyes, you just see the drawn characters. You can see different characters such as, oh goodness, who's there? There's Black Bolt I can see. I mean, yeah, this is a little bit confusing. But there's Black Bolt, there's the Hulk, there's all these people drawn in their black and white stage, which is really cool. But then the ring here is all like, Spider-Man in his black costume or Venom. I mean, they're basically, it's one big drawing, and this is all Venom around here, different versions, a little collage of Venom, and then of course on the outside you have all Spider-Man. I mean, these are all different art styles. These are all different tones. Yeah, I mean, you just see two Spider-Mans right next to each other, like lifting his mask or saying something or thinking something. It's a really great way of putting all this together in order to make... This is something they could not have made into a comic cover, because why would you do such a thing? Or, Funko comic cover. Yeah, why would you do such a thing? This is amazing. This is a great Great little issue that pays homage to all the different artists that had worked on Spider-Man over the past 700 issues. Because, yeah, you've got like cartoony version Spider-Man, you've got more serious, darker Spider-Man going on here. The eye slits are of varying sizes on this. But yeah, having Venom, who hasn't been around as much, just adds to it and everything. But yeah, this is a great cover of Spider-Man number 700. And then we are going to move right into Amazing Spider-Man number 700. We've got the same one, and this was an oversized issue, and you had a ton of people contribute to this. And there are several names in here worth mentioning, like Peter David, Gil Kane, John Romita Jr., Jerry Conway, John Romita and John Romita Jr., Steve Ditko, the co-creator of Spider-Man, J. Michael Straczynski, Mark Bagley, Ron Garney, Darn Heck, Len Wein, Stan Lee, Marv Wolfman, Todd McFarlane, of course. But yeah, just all of the writers and artists that were that made up of the past 700 issues of Spider-Man, and I would like to think that their names reflect the length of time they had on the book. So you've got the shorter stint guys, their names in a much smaller font, and then some people who had longer runs having a bigger the bigger font going on here. And of course, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko are obviously the biggest and of equal size because they are the co-creators. But yeah, really, really cool way of saying thank you for everybody who had gotten us to 700 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man. And then we are going to jump straight into, gotta read this one. We have got Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, number 1. So we've had a couple of issues of Miles Morales' Spider-Man number 1 so far. I think that's like 3 or 4 already. It's like plenty of jumping on points with Miles Morales. But I do believe that this is actually when Miles Morales jumps into Earth 616. Like, this is when he joins the regular Marvel Universe and has to find his place in a world that's already got a Spider-Man. So that's kind of cool. I mean, he's got plenty of new beginnings. I mean, say what you want about Miles Morales. Dude's been through some crap, you know. But yeah, I believe they update his origin to some degree. And basically they're just like, okay, we're going to make the Miles Morales that we want to push forward. And so we got to give him another Spider-Man number 1 issue. Yeah, because Miles Morales doesn't have enough of those.
Okay, little fella, Kingpin's gonna send a lot of mugs after you, and I'm talking hard boys, real biscuit boxers. Can you fight them all off at once?
And then we jump to The Amazing Spider-Man number 9? Yeah, reboot time. We've got Amazing Spider-Man number 9 from 2015. And this is a very interesting issue because I haven't touched on this yet, but at this point, the Amazing Spider-Man here, while it is Peter Parker, his mind has been taken over by Dr. Octopus. Otto Octavius has imprinted his brain onto Peter Parker's, and the whole idea is he is going to show that he is the superior Spider-Man. So at this point, you've got basically somebody is basically jumping across the multiverse, taking out Spider-Man, and so Otto Octavius, or the superior Spider-Man, is grouping a bunch of Spider-Men from different universes in order to get them together. So, yeah, did I say something about it being confusing with the clones and the symbiotes all over the place? Let's go multiverse now, because Spider-Man is not confusing enough. Because now you've got Otto Octavius running Peter Parker's body, proving that he's the better Spider-Man. And of course, Peter Parker's still in there. He can still see what's going on. He just does not have active control over his own body or his own mind. He's kind of sitting there having to watch. And then you've got all the different. You've got Spider-Woman in the back. You've got a Miles Morales Spider-Man here. You got a Spider-Man 2099. This looks like the Spider-Man Spider clone costume is what it looks like, and then you've got the Spider Girl costume, which is essentially this one as far as character, but it's not the same. It's not the same costume, but it is Anya, which is my favorite of the Spider Girls. So yeah, this is where it gets even more confusing. Because forget the symbiotes and the clones. We've got multiverse happening. Because Spider-Man cannot be straightforward. And that leads us straight into The Amazing Spider-Man number 13. Because this story's, I think this is part 1. And now we're at the point of part 5. So by this point, we've got a bunch of different Spider-Men running around. And there you've got Peter Porker, the Spider-Ham. Obviously, you've got Spider-Punk, the Spider-Gwen. Well, I'm going to call her that because her name could be Spider-Woman or Ghost Spider. The character itself has gone through a couple different names. You've got the Spider-Woman that is Mayday Parker, that was from Spider-Girl from the MC2 universe, that was short-lived, where it was where it was basically a grown-up or teenage May Parker, which is Spider-Man's daughter, and who inherits her powers from her dad. But yeah, it's still Otto Octavius running the show, and I'm really kind of interested. I want to kind of look at this, these actual issues, because as Raze mentioned before, this is still the superior Spider-Man. This is still Otto Octavius running Peter Parker's body, and running into all the different Spider-Mans from all over the world, or all over the multiverse. Eventually somebody's got to figure out, hey, this is Dr. Octopus. This isn't freaking Peter Parker, But, yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, Raze is kind of ready to he's willing to wait till the dust settles till he checks this one out. Oh, but yeah. But going from that, we're spinning right off into Spider-Gwen number 1, which is insane because we've already done a Spider-Gwen number 0, but that was from a while back. But in this case, we're actually showing the Spider-Gwen as she is, just finally giving her ongoing series instead of a one-shot. So I believe she's referenced as Ghost Spider in this, or Spider-Woman, not 100% positive. But yeah, let's get it going on. Obviously, the fan love for Spider-Gwen has been so strong that they couldn't just leave it behind. Her costume design is absolutely gorgeous and amazing. And it's just a really easy way to do it. This is basically she comes from a universe in which the radioactive spider on the class trip landed on her and not Peter Parker. So she had to watch her Peter Parker die, and yeah, it's just basically the flip reverse of the Peter Gwen relationship from another universe, only reversed. And yeah, so emotions run high when these get together. Or when Spider-Man has to deal with Spider-Gwen, it gets complicated, I would imagine, or I would think so. But I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is leading into Spider-Woman number 5, a new series, and this also takes place after the Spider-Verse series. And this is after this is a series that's starting up, after the original Spider-Woman series, which I showed you a couple issues from that on a previous video. It kind of goes a little bit after that initial series ran out. Basically, they had what they needed, which was the license to keep TV studios from building their own Spider-Woman. And making a spin-off of that series and taking a character, basically being able to keep their intellectual property. They really didn't do much. I think they made a couple of later Spider-Woman characters for by the time you got to Secret Wars, that was actually a different Spider-Woman in that series. And so at this point we're back to Jessica Drew. And they brought her back to join the Avengers, and did plenty there. And this is the series. This is a series after that. Basically, she's at the point where really didn't do much. Had a messed up origin story because they played with that throughout Secret Invasion, and then she was part of the Avengers, and then she jumps into the Spider-Verse, and she's all over the multiverse and everything. And this is just basically a series where she's kind of like, where the hell do I fit into the world when I've seen so many other worlds and not a lot of me's, but it's like basically having to live in Spider-Man's world for a little while, which is obviously very, very, very confusing. If there's ever a hero you would really not want to be, I would imagine it's Peter Parker. But yeah, that's the next 25. So Raze is gonna get you over to the other one, and yeah, Raze is gonna go ahead and end the video now because yeah, these things get long. No idea how long this has gone because Raze just talks. So while he stops this and goes into the next one, he is going to go ahead and let you have a break, and go ahead and let you go now. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this little journey through these Spider-Man postcards, because yeah, they're getting a lot different, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give this another try. Oh, we're gonna see if this works. We're gonna go ahead and see if because we are on the next one is the last one. So we've got these are the last 25. This is for the next video. So tune in next time where we will have Spider-Man having stuff thrown at him while he's on a billboard and peeping into somebody's apartment and okay, yeah, that's just weird. Little homage to Stan Lee right here on the top because it's got Spider-Man, Stan Lee 2022 to 2018. That's really a giveaway as to when this issue came out. But yeah, this is the next batch. Thought that would actually be funnier than it was, but it isn't. So Raze is going to go ahead and let you go now. Be sure and come back for this last little bit whenever Raze gets this up, because these things are a pain to edit. But never forget that life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.